About a month later, after the medicine run, the survivors were soon healed from the disease that they were sick with. So, with that being said and done, everyone was doing their usual thing. Fred, along with Shaggy, were checking on one of the horses inside the barn. They could see the horse with a bandaged leg. Poor thing. He's been sitting on that stall rest ever since he got injured, Fred sighed. How did he get hurt? Shaggy asked. One of the barn people said that he was on a mission, but he got spooked and the survivor, when he fell off, he got hurt. But I'm glad no one was bitten. Otherwise, that would not have been good, Fred replied. The horse lay down as his leg was hurting him. At least we have a vet here, Shaggy said. That I could say is a good thing, Fred replied. He walked into the house to see Stephen in front of Melissa's room. How is she? Fred asked. She's not going to make it, Stephen said sadly. How do you know? Fred asked. I hear Thorn, Dusk, and Luna talking in the room, Stephen replied, as the Hex Girls' voices can be heard. They're talking about something. Want me to get your parents? Fred asked until he was cut off by Stephen. No, don't tell them just yet. Let's wait till the Hex Girls come out, Stephen said as Fred sighed. Meanwhile, in the outskirts of town, Daphne and Velma were scavenging on a mission. They headed down to the quiet part of town, and there were only a few zombies wandering around. Daphne parked the car and walked inside a small grocery store. Velma walked in as well. Daphne got her fire axe and saw the zombie standing in front of them. Of course, his back was turned to them. Daphne walked up and took care of the zombie by destroying the brain. Nice one, Velma said as the zombie dropped to the floor dead on the ground. She and Daphne began to grab anything they could find. They had found some food, water, medical supplies, and other useful stuff. Thanks, Velma, Daphne said. As she looked to her left, she could see two eyes from the darkness. You okay, Daph? Velma asked, noticing that Daphne has been acting weird. You're not acting like yourself. Oh, I'm okay, Velma. It's just I feel that we're being watched, Daphne replied as she crouched down to pick up some medicine that was being scavenged. When me and Thorn were on a mission, I saw a cat creature in a storage closet. Velma gasped at this. You did? Who did you see? Velma asked, getting worried. I think it was Lena Dupree. Remember the cat creature on Moonscar Island? Daphne replied. I saw her. She tried to attack me. We might want to warn the others about this. I'm not sure how they came back to life, Velma said. It did make sense, did it? How come the cat creatures were raised back from the dead? Who did it? The possibilities were rolling in Velma's mind, along with Daphne's as well. Suddenly the walkie-talkie started buzzing, and then Thorn's voice could be heard from the other side. Daphne? Velma? Anyone there? Thorn's voice asked. Daphne answered the walkie-talkie. Yes, Thorn, did you read? We read you. Everything okay? Daphne asked. Well, we have some upsetting and sad news, Thorn trailed off. Melissa unfortunately didn't make it, so Stephen, Marilyn, and James are going to say their last goodbyes to her, and they will be putting Melissa out of misery. Why? Has Melissa been bitten? Daphne said in shock. Well, Dusk and Luna checked. She was bitten on the shoulder, and she was hiding it from her family, so she might come back as one of them, if she's not taken care of sooner, Thorn replied as Velma listened to what Thorn was saying. Man, damn it, Daphne cursed under her breath. Should we head back? Daphne asked. Luna just said that Stephen, James, and Marilyn don't want to put Melissa out of her misery, so prepared for crap to hit the fan, because the farm will soon not be safe to stay, Thorn replied. Dread then shot through Daphne and Velma as if they were a deer standing in front of headlights. We'll head back. Are the others okay? Velma asked. Fred, Shaggy, and Scooby, along with Rose and Ox, are getting ready to escape, so you should head back as soon as possible. I'm not sure about the barn people, but just get back here, Thorn replied, as Velma and Daphne both agreed. The girls then walked out of the store and got back in the car that they took and started to drive back to the countryside. While driving down the countryside, they saw a small herd of zombies roaming through the farmland. They continued to drive back to the Rhine stable. They arrived within 10 minutes. Ox and Rose saw Daphne and Velma returning, so they opened the gates to let the girls in. Good thing you both are back. Fred, Shaggy, and Scooby have loaded our things into the mystery machine, Ox said. The rest are in the Hex Girls' van, and my trailer is ready as to go well. Where's the Hex Girls? Velma asked as Fred, along with Scooby and Shaggy, ran out. Fred! I'm glad you, Scooby, and Shaggy are okay, Daphne said as she ran up to Fred. Are the Hex Girls okay? They're fine. Melissa just came back as one of them, Fred replied, freaking out. She attacked her mom and dad, and Thorn killed the parents and Melissa. Like it was so scary! Shaggy panicked as well. Luna and Dusk came out of the barn, and they heard screaming from the house. We heard screaming from the barn, and a small herd of zombies are on the way, Dusk said. We have to go, but where's Thorn? Luna asked. She's back in the house. I'll go and get her, Daphne offered as she ran inside the house. Then she climbed the stairs and saw a trail of blood. She followed the trail up to Melissa's bedroom door and slowly pushed it open. Stephen was on his knees. He was next to his parents' and sister's corpses. Daphne can see Thorn covered in blood. She had a gun in her hand, and she was shaking, but she didn't show that she wanted to cry. That was because she wanted to cry, but held back her tears. What happened? Daphne asked. Melissa came back as a zombie and attacked her parents, Thorn stammered. I tried to tell Stephen that they're not his family anymore, but he wouldn't listen to me, so he pushed me away. Go meet up with the gang. I'll try to talk to him, Daphne instructed as Thorn nodded and took off. Daphne crouched down to Stephen's level. She could see that Stephen was bitten on the left arm near his wrist. Daphne was cut off by Stephen pushing her away. You did this! Stephen yelled at Daphne. My family! They're dead! Because you, Mystery Inc. and the Hex Girls! Why are you blaming us? Daphne asked. Melissa was bitten, and she was a zombie, so there was no reason to put the blame on us. No one told me that she was bitten. How could you not see it? Stephen shouted. Melissa is dead. If she was notified that she was bitten, this wouldn't have happened. Now I'm bitten. Stephen, look. Your sister hid the bite. She didn't want to freak you guys out. So you can't just put the blame on us. We can handle the bite on you, Daphne said. Just calm down and we can look for help and get your bitten mark taken care of. It's too late, Daphne. I'm sorry for yelling at you and blaming it on you, too, Stephen replied as he grabbed his gun. Daphne knew what he was thinking. Stephen, please, I'll do it so you don't have to be one of them. It's the least I can do, Daphne said, as Stephen handed Daphne his gun. Back outside the house, the gang and the Hex Girls were waiting for Daphne to get out of the house. Thorn was cleaning the blood stains from her face wherever her skin got in contact with the blood. She then used an old rag that she found in the mystery machine to clean it. A sudden gunshot was heard, and everyone had a feeling that something happened. Daphne walked out of the house. Her dress that was purple is covered with splatters of blood, and she had Stephen's handgun in her hand, so Fred walked up to his girlfriend. Daphne, where's Stephen? Fred asked. Since Stephen was bitten, I tried to get him to come with us, but he didn't want that, so he wanted to end it all, and I put him out of his misery, so he wouldn't become one of them, Daphne replied. She was at near the urge of tears. The gang and the Hex Girls, along with Ox and Rose, got in their vehicles, and just in time as the farm was being overrun by zombies. Some of the survivors were escaping on horseback, while others were either being eaten or even escaping in their own vehicles. The gang, along with the Hex Girls and their two friends, were on the road. They were wandering more into the countryside of Fairview. We have nowhere to go now, Velma said. We'll have to find another place to hold out in. I sure hope we could find more survivors, Fred reassured his friend. We lost the farm, and I just wish Stephen's family would have listened to us. Melissa was bitten. If her family would have looked at her closely, Daphne said. She was frustrated. It's no one's fault, Daph. It happened so quickly all of a sudden. We just didn't have time to react, Fred replied while reassuring Daphne. Like, man, where are we gonna go? Shaggy asked. Where? Scooby asked as well. Don't know, gang. Let's pull over here to talk with the group, Fred said, as he pulled over on the other side of the road. The Hex Girls, along with Ox and Rose, both did the same thing. Everyone got all of their vehicles with their weapons. Since there was no zombies around, they were in a group circle. Where do you think we should go? Dusk asked. Well, the city is dangerous and at the same time the countryside. But where else can we head off to? Luna asked as well. We could see if there's an abandoned place to hold out at, Ox suggested. Either in the city or in the countryside. Anywhere would be good. Well, I do know someone who can help. She's a friend of Marcus, and I don't know her very well, but all I can say is I heard of her from what Marcus told me. She is a nice one, Rose suggested. The Mystery Inc. and the Hex Girls agreed. Sounds good, but where is this place? Fred asked. Like, who is your friend's friend? Shaggy asked also. On my map. She is located on the city of Fairview, but she is located on the western side of Fairview, known as Nesta's hideout, or holdout, Rose replied. Nesta's holdout? Thorn asked in confusion. Is it safe? I don't know. We'll go there and see for ourselves, Ox said. Everyone drove out of the countryside. Once they reached to the western side of Fairview, they approached a hideout in the distance and slowed down their vehicles at the barricades. A few armed men with guns walked towards them. Everyone got out of their vehicles. Who are you guys? One of them asked. We're the Mystery Inc., Fred began to explain. We're here with Rose Martin, Rose, and Ox, and the Hex Girls. Are any of you infected? The other man with the gun asked. None of us have been bitten, and we don't want any trouble, Ox replied. I'm Rose Martin, a friend of Marcus. He did say you have a friend named Nesta. Is she there? Rose asked. Hang on a second. I'll go get her. You sure you're a friend of Marcus? The armed man replied back. Yes. Now, I don't know Nesta very well, but I have heard of her, Rose replied. The gang all waited for a few minutes outside the holdout. The gang could hear the guards whispering amongst themselves. The gang just stared at each other. What are they saying? Velma asked. I have no idea. Maybe they are suspicious when it comes to newcomers, Fred suggested with a shrug. The gang all saw a woman in her late 30s stepped out of the hideout of the walls. She had her gun raised in her hand, signaling her men to lower their guns when her hand was raised. Greetings, Mystery Inc. and the Hex Girls. I see you brought 2 survivors along with you, Nesta said. I'm Nesta, and this is my holdout, or hideout, whatever you decide to call it. I am glad you found this place. We always welcome newcomers to the team, but we can be skeptical at times. Nice to meet you, Nesta. We holed up in a riding stable until the zombies ran over the farm, Form said. Bring your vehicles inside, and then all of you should come in and see me in my office, Nesta ordered the Mystery Inc. along with the Hex Girls, Ox, and Rose. They all did as they were told. Once they brought their vehicles inside Nesta's hideout, everyone all walked inside the officer building, and one of the guards told them to wait outside until Nesta called them in. While waiting outside, Nesta would call out one person one at a time to her office to ask questions and stuff. And even some personal ones, even though Nesta hated to ask those type of questions, but it still needed to be said and done. What do you think of this place? Fawn asked Shaggy. Like, it's a bit strange, Fawn, but I'm sure we'll get used to it, Shaggy replied, trying to think of the positive side and not the negative. Once everyone was questioned by Nasta, she walked out of the office and looked at the newcomers. Alright, Mystery Inc., the Hex Girls and Rose and Ox, I think you will all make fine additions to our group, as long as you help us out. It will be on the good side, Nasta said. Sounds great. Are there more holdouts? Fred asked. There are more holdouts. Why do you ask? Nasta asked. Because if there are more holdouts, then I'm sure we could work together to get through the outbreak, Fred replied. We are working on a vaccine, but we sadly lost contact with Sigurnauticum Bunker just last week. The radio is either broken here or at their end, but we were keeping in touch since the outbreak started, Nasta sighed. Sadly, the other outposts haven't had a huge luck contacting them either. We might bring the message to them somehow, if we could find a way to get there without dying. We can help, even though it may be dangerous, but we have been through other dangerous stuff before, Velma offered to help. Willing to take the risk, eh? Nasta asked, liking Velma's offer and her enthusiasm, and smiled. I like that, so I'll tell you what. When you guys are ready to take on the Sigurnauticum Bunker, let me know and we'll go from there. Thanks, Nesta, Daphne said. Well, I do have some stuff for you all to do in the morning, so let me show you your rooms, Nasta said, as she took her new friends to the bedrooms. My bedrooms is upstairs beyond of this abandoned hotel. The guards are on the first floor, so you guys are on the second floor. We have nurses, doctors, soldiers, and a lot of people on this floor. So amazed at this. How many people here come and go? Dusk asked. They came to stay when they're injured and needed a rest, and plus some of them don't even return due to them having to be eaten or something. But you are all free to stay as long as you like. We have people that scavenge stuff as well, Nasta said as she opened up the door to the first bedroom. Like, man, look at this! It's a queen-size bed and there's a dog bed, Shaggy said in amazement. Rare, Scooby added. You and Scooby can have this room, Nashta said. As Shaggy and Scooby walked in their room, it didn't take long for them to sit down and relax. The next door over, she opened up the next room. Fred, Daphne, and Velma can have this room. There is a king-size bed and a bunk bed. It's not the greatest place to sleep, but it's better than nothing, Daphne said. Fred and Velma also entered the room to settle. Nashta then showed the Hex girls their room, which there was 3 separate beds. This room is good, even though it's not the best, Luna said, but this will do. Enjoy your rest of your night, girls. Come down to the kitchen for dinner when you're ready. One of my guards will let you know, and let me know if you or any of your friends need anything or have any problems, just let us know, Nashta said, and then she went off into the hallway. The Hex girls were just getting settled in their new room. This may not be clean or perfect, Dusk said as she sat down on her bed, but it's better than sleeping with one eye open and not having to run away from the zombies for 100 miles. This is where we can stay for a while, Luna said. Fawn then grabbed the rag and then began to clean herself up from the blood on her face and areas where her skin was shown. Meanwhile, with Daphne, Fred, and Velma's room, Daphne was in the shower, about to wash herself. It has been a while since everyone had a shower. Daphne, you in there? Fred asked as he knocked on the door. Daphne popped her head from the shower curtains, covering her body. Yes, I am, Fred. You need something? She asked. Yeah, I'm just gonna wash my face. Will that be okay? Fred asked her. Sure, Fred. Then will you let me have my privacy in the shower? Daphne asked while growing impatient. Okay, Daph, Fred replied. He washed his face while trying to give Daphne some privacy in the bathroom. So as soon as Fred's face was cleaned up, he left the bathroom and laid down on his bed. Meanwhile, in Shaggy and Scooby's room, just the 2 goofballs were just chilling in their room. White man, this isn't perfect, but it will do just fine, Shaggy said while lying on his bed. Yeah, Raggy, Scooby agreed. Raggy, when will rings go back to normal? Scooby asked. Things will go back to normal eventually, Scoob. Hopefully we get a vaccine for the Synchronomicon virus, Shaggy replied as he patted Scooby's head. In the meantime, why not we have some snack on some junk food together? Rare, Scooby said, liking the idea, so he and Scooby began to eat all the junk food that they have brought with them. Maybe Nesta's hideout wasn't as bad an idea after all as they thought. They hope that everything will go back to normal. As soon as everyone gets hold of the Synchronomicon bunker, things will hopefully be able to go smoothly.